Assalamu alaikum students. Today we will continue with our first chapter, that is weather and climate, and it is part 4 of it. Let's get started. Our first heading for today is some of the reasons for difference in climate, that is latitude. It just states that the places near the equator are hotter than the north and south poles, and in this picture it is showing that sun rays reaching A passes through a greater thickness of Earth's surface and it covers about a larger area than of B. Our next heading is altitude, and it states that altitude is when the Earth's surface heats the air above it, and this heat is prevented by clouds, dust and water vapor from escaping, but it escapes and air remains cold, which contains a little bit of dust and water vapor as the air is very thin. Our next heading is distance from the sea. It states that land heats and cools down quickly and gains focus in moderate zone. In winter, air above sea is warm, but above land it is cold, and the warmth that is carried to the coastal areas by the shore does not last longer as it mixes with the cold air. The monsoon climate in South and Southeast Asia. The word monsoon is derived from an Arabic word mosam, which means season, and it states that in summer and winter season monsoon wind blows completely in opposite directions, and which is almost similar to land and breezes which we have seen in the previous parts. And there are 3 characteristics of the monsoon climate. These are from November till February, which states that it is cool and dry, and then from March till May it is hot and dry, whereas from June till October it is hot and wet. And it also states that the amount of rainfall changes accordingly to the location. It means that the different locations have different amount of rainfall. Reasons for the monsoon climate. It states that the land in Central Asia is very hot in summers and the sea is cooler. As the air over the sea is also cooler, it means that the air pressure over the sea is higher. In these 2 figures, that is the number 1 is figure 1.15a, it shows the low pressure which results from this hot rising air, and it is showing the Himalayas and the pressure in Central Asia from a smaller area of low pressure in Punjab. It is showing the air pressure and winds in summers, while the other is completely opposite as it is showing the air pressure and winds in winter, and it is showing the high pressure which results from this hot and rising air. The equatorial climate. It states that all the features, that is tall tree, creepers and evergreen forest, are the result of equatorial climate in the areas of tropical rainforest. And there are characteristics of equatorial climate. Number 1 is there are no seasons at all. Number 2 is temperature varies, that is temperature changes very little throughout the year. Number 3 is the average daily temperature is about 26 degrees centigrade and rainfall is very heavy throughout the year. And number 5th is rainfall is convectional and occurs nearly every day. These are few characteristics which shows that when the equatorial climate exists and occurs. Reasons for the equatorial climate. It states that Earth receives the most heat, that was explained in figure 1.12 in part 3 of the video. The temperature is extremely high because of the hot air, and it cools during the day, which causes rainfall. And it states the absence of different seasons during the year are due to constant high temperature and frequent convectional rainfall. That is all for today. Our chapter is finished here. Must read the chapter for better understanding. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.